Welcome to the Answer is Yes podcast, where we interview some of the most interesting people that have said yes to opportunities in their life. We hope that through these stories, you can learn to create your own destiny by saying yes along the way. Join us as we explore the new series covering topics such as passion, integrity, and hard work. I'm your host, Jim Riley, and I hope you enjoy these interviews as much as I do. I believe that everyone has an important message worth hearing. Hello and welcome to the Answer is Yes podcast. Thanks for tuning in. One of the things I love about this show is it allows me the ability, or just a really good excuse, to connect with people I haven't talked to in a while. They pop back up on your radar and it's like, wow, I need to talk to that person again. It's been way too long. Today is one of those cases. I've got Josh Wand on the phone. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you? It's been too long.
I'm good. I apologize. We got the Zoom call. I can see your face and you can't see mine, but I will tell you, you look healthy and happy. You've got your Piñata business hat on and you're in Santa Monica, right?
That's right, man. Yeah, we just got here a few weeks ago.
I love it. Well, we met, I don't even know how many years ago. I feel like it's almost been 20. You were, you owned Monte Cristo Rum at the time. And
2002 to 2008, I think that was the period. So towards the tail end.
Wow. Okay, so then I was at Kettle One Vodka at the time, and we were in the spirits business doing our thing, and I absolutely fell in love with the product that you had, the juice that was in the bottle, the label, your personality, your business partner's personality, Tim, and I was just like, how do I become a part of this? But before we dig too much into that, because to me that was pretty exciting to meet you guys and what you were doing, we always ask our guests for a little bit of their background, where you grew up at and how you got started in business, what made you become an entrepreneur. So if you don't mind, would you share a little bit of your history with us before we dig into some of your businesses?
Yeah, happy to. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, lived there till I was about, 18. Decided I always wanted to connect with people. And I used to, my mentor when I used to play hoops, basketball when I was a kid, owned a group of restaurants in Atlanta, and he became kind of my idol. And I said, I'm going to open up restaurants. Like, that's my jam. That's what I want to do. And so when I looked at programs to study, educational institutions, there's a few that do it well, in America. And it was between going up to Cornell, where it was really cold, or going out to Vegas, where there were palm trees. I chose the left coast and got out to Vegas and decided to enroll in hospitality management. And within about a year, I realized I never wanted to work in a restaurant again.
Yeah, I bet.
But the drink bone's connected to the food bone, and there was a big liquor distributor based in Nevada called Southern Wine and Spirits that was starting a cigar division. This is back when Cigar Aficionado popped up and cigars were in vogue. And this was around like 96, 97. And my dad and I used to always smoke Stokes together. So I worked in a cigar shop in Vegas. And one day a guy came in there who said, hey, listen, I want to talk to you about cigars and the rolling process and what you see in the market. And I just was passionate about it. I was 19. Mm-hmm. And I told him everything that, I was feeling that day. And he called me the next day. He's like, hey, man, you want a job? And I said, well, I got one. You were in the shop yesterday. And he said, no. I work for Southern Wine and Spirits, and we're starting a cigar division. And you're not old enough to sell alcohol, but we'd love to have you be a part of the cigar team. We're going to be developing cigar programs for all the major hotels, casinos, hospitality groups. And in conjunction with the fine wine and cognac and single malt Scotch list, we're going to be offering super premium cigars. And I said, that sounds like a dream job.
Yeah.
It wasn't to sell booze, but I got to learn from a lot of great guys that did. And it turns out the guy that offered me the job there really brought me in under his wing. And then I had the good fortune to be mentored by some incredibly wonderful entrepreneurs and thought leaders in the industry, which I'm so grateful for till this day. Larry Ruvo and these incredible guys in Nevada really taught me so much. And I learned that, wow, you can import this stuff. You can create this stuff. You can be in the whole distribution business. You can be in the hospitality side. I said, I may not want to work in the restaurant business, but I'd love to liaise with them. I'm so fascinated by this. So I ended up working for Southern Wine and Spirits selling cigars, and then ended up getting into beverage alcohol. And it turns out the guy that identified me and offered me that job ended up breaking away and starting his own spirits company right after I graduated from college.
Well, hey, by the way, side note, Larry Ruvo was on this show last year, And
He's the best.
we learned the whole story of Southern. So I'm so glad that it tied together here. But no, incredible human being. And just as you said, great organization, good people. So sorry about the side note there, but kind of cool.
Amazing organization. I would not be where I am today, professionally or personally, without Southern Wine and Spirits and without Larry Ruoff's guidance. He's an incredible mentor, and I could never pay him back for all the opportunities that he gave me. And after going through that experience, this gentleman said, "Hey, listen, I'm starting this rum company. I licensed the Monte Cristo trademark, which is a cigar trademark, but I'm creating a super premium barrel-aged rum." This is way back before craft spirits were really a thing. I think when I met you.
Yeah.
Like now you meet, there's 70, 80, 300, 400 entrepreneurs sometimes, at a conference, all launching craft spirits. Like it was us and like 3 or 4 others. It was like you, and there was Zier Vodka, and then Rob Cooper with Saint Germain was a little later on, and Shoe with Bulldog. There were not many. And so it was this really tight-knit crew, which was awesome. And he hired me to be his VP of sales and distribution when I was 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know how to do it. But you sure learn on the job. And we got an apartment in New York City, opened up a little crash pad / office, and we launched the product in, 42 states. And that was my entree into beverage alcohol, where we met, and found out I was really passionate about it. And it was a great job when I was in my 20s and willing to live on the road and travel and meet incredible people. And I learned so much.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the beverage alcohol space. And I can share more about the other chapter of the journey, but that's where I came from and how I kind of got into this world.
It was exciting. By the way, last time I saw Tim back in Vegas, maybe 2-3 years ago, he still had some bottles of the rum, and we shared a shot together. He didn't want to part with the whole bottle, but we definitely had a few drinks together, which was really nice.
Yeah, I have a few left. They're collector's items now.
Yeah, don't pour them out. Save that.
Right? Yeah, we'll drink it one of these days.
So you kind of launched your career working for a brand there. Where did you transition from? Out of Monte Cristo.
Well, we had this incredible ride, this incredible journey, and one of the powers of Monte Cristo was the strength of the trademark. Mm-hmm. There were so many companies that, wow, this is going to be a global brand. People smoke Monte Cristo cigars and cigarillos in Europe like people were smoking, Marlboro Lights and Camels back here. And I'm no longer a smoker, but the cigar trademark is like a hugely valuable mark globally. And so we licensed the mark from Altadas USA, which gave us breadth and depth in the U.S. And there was a ton of interest. We won these incredible awards and accolades and best rum of the year by Wine and Spirits Magazine really early out of the gates. But when push came to shove, we were always building this to go through a liquidity event and have a successful exit. Mm-hmm. And when we started to get inbound interest and we started to get a couple term sheets, and these companies took a good hard look at us, what became our competitive advantage became our Achilles heel. And what I mean by that is we only had the rights to license the trademark in the U.S. and U.S. duty free. We did not have the rights to the brand globally. And a lot of the power of the brand was to be able to produce Monte Cristo rum in Europe, in Asia, and to sell it and distribute there. We didn't have the rights. It was owned by the Spanish and Cuban government. So we went through this whole journey, propped this whole rum company up. Keep in mind, I was a young 22, 23-year-old kid. It wasn't my idea. I had some sweat equity, and I just had an incredible time and learning experience. Like, what I learned from that, fundamentally, is licensing other people's trademarks is very challenging.
Yeah, sure.
We didn't actually own the brand. So when that became very clear to us, I think I was 27 or 28, I said, I'm not too long on this, because the goal was successful chapter, exit, on to the next one. Regardless of the lack of liquidity event, it was an incredible journey. But what I found during that process was I loved connecting with people, and I loved connecting with entrepreneurs. And there was always this common thread. We'd see each other at shows or general sales meetings or in accounts, and just had a great deal of admiration and respect for some of these entrepreneurs. You end up hooking them up. They say, hey, I need a VP of sales. Hey, I need a regional sales manager. Hey, I need a CFO. You know anyone? Of course I do.
Yeah.
And I was down at the South Beach Food and Wine Festival in 2007, mixing up some mojitos, some like raspberry or mango, with my feet in the sand. And a gentleman that I was friendly with who owned a champagne company came up to me and said, "Hey, listen, I'm looking for regional sales manager on the East Coast. Do you know of anyone?" I said, "Not really." Shook up the mojito, handed him a cocktail, and said, "But I'll let you know." About 15 minutes later, someone walked up to me who I loved and was like, "Hey, man, I'm looking to, make a transition. I really love champagne. I'm wondering if I can find a job with a supplier." And I was like, that light bulb went off. I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, I got a guy." So I was driving up from South Beach to West Palm to hang out with my girlfriend's parents, now my wife and the mother of my children. But this was 2007. And I got up to the house that night, and I was talking to my father-in-law, who's really like my mentor in life, professional, spiritual. He's like my coach. I said, "I have this idea." And he said, "I don't know much about recruiting, but I think they're pretty good high margin businesses. I think it could be interesting. You might be good at this, but you got to put together a business plan." So we did over the next 6 months, put together a business plan, pressure tested the idea, talked to a bunch of entrepreneurs, talked to some mid-market companies. And it turns out back then, there were really very few platforms out there or executive search firms specifically focused on the beverage industry. And there were no job boards out there too. So we decided to create a digital platform, do it yourself,
Yep.
executive recruiting. But it was just me in a little bungalow in San Diego and Encinitas, California, staring at a Buddha and a banana tree every day while I was still working with Monte Cristo rum until I could justify it, potentially get a couple people jobs, have enough on the balance sheet to actually break away and do my own thing.
Yeah, sure.
And we did it. And I don't know, raised a total of $165,000 ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then moved to New York and then, started to really grow. And it turned out the drink bones connected to the food bone. And we started getting into Food Force, and then we ended up launching Beauty Force, and now we have Herb Force, which is a cannabis division, and Pet Force. So we've ended up creating a platform which is like the modern day Corn Ferry or Heidrick and Struggles for consumer tech, with a HR tech platform and a career marketplace underneath it. So now there's like 70 people that are a lot smarter than I am, that are a lot better at a lot of things than I am. And I get to connect with founders and help them, accomplish their vision of growing their teams, organizationally designing their business, hook them up with private equity, venture capital, deal with the strategic. So it's like an SMB, mid-market, and global strategic play with different specialties in those verticals that I discussed: food, beverage, beauty, pet, cannabis. And now we have just launched a really cool software business too called Pinata, which I'm thrilled about. So I just like building things and connecting people, and all of them are pretty complementary.
It's interesting that's how you formulate it all, because many of us are the same way. We like connecting people. You like helping somebody else out. And geez, I get asked the same question you were asked all the time. I'm looking for somebody, right?
All the time.
How intuitive you to create a business out of it. Because back in the day, there wasn't all these platforms, like you said, to go find jobs,
Exactly.
And what was out there, it's not like you could trust them or they had a personality where you go, well, I really like these guys. They were just, black and white platforms. You guys have so much life within your sites and your teams, because I've had the chance to interact with some back in the day. How did you go about? Obviously, you better have the best people, because you're an agency that employs people, right? No pressure.
Yeah, it starts with the quality of the human being. And we decided, we wanted to have like a hybrid mashup of finding incredible thought leaders that have like run brands, have worked in beverage, alcohol, non-alc, food, beauty, pet. Find thought leaders there, and then combine them with people that have more traditional recruiting experience. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, we had the classic skill sets of actually organizationally designing and putting together structure for these companies and running real team building recruiting process for them efficiently, while having your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the industry and saying, listen, we've worked with these brands that have built, scaled, gone to successful liquidity events. Like, we've been in the space. We know who these humans are. We can share with you and help you build this organization for the next 5-7 years, opposed to being so transactional. So it's like we just, I'm so proud of this one team. Just went through an exit to Nestle about 3 weeks ago, Vital Proteins. Mm-hmm. We started working with the founder when it was like early on, all the way through this liquidity event. And it's like, there's nothing more rewarding than working with incredible people. In this day and age, there's two things that matter most for any company. It's capital and it's talent, I mean, that's what you need. The talent they build the brand, they build the supply chain, they build the marketing, sales and distribution functions, they build the finance functions. It's humans.
Yeah.
So you got to have great people.